Hello and welcome. It is I, Sylvia Hartmann, coming to you live from beautiful Eastbourne by the sea for the Energy Show. I am delighted, dear Marianne, that you are here with me and that you've come back, that you're feeling better. And that's brilliant. Hello, good morning. And good morning to everyone else from around the wonderful worlds of time and space. The amazing thing that we can record video and that people can watch it back. It's fantastic, really, if you think about it. Big thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed to the channel. Over 1,600 subscribers now. A big thank you. And I'm really pleased that many people are finding something beneficial in taking part and listening and perhaps doing some of the energy exercises that we do here. Fantastic. I've got to put that on the screen. That's so good. Marianne says, good morning, dear Sylvia. A Sunday without Sunday Life with Sylvia is just half of what a real Sunday could be. Oh, indeed. Oh, indeed. I do look forward to these. I often have this sense, oh no, oh my God, I'm too tired or too whatever. But once we get started with energy, it's always uplifting, it's always good, and it's always a welcome thing. And that's also something to remember, is that energy, it's energy work, energy work. Good morning, dear Carol Ann. Yes. Yes. I just had that picture of your beautiful self in mind from, when was that, 2 days ago? Yeah, you looked amazing. That was really good. Yes, okay, so let's get started. Let's get into it. And just in case you think my energy is a little bit off today, I had a dental operation on Friday afternoon, which took a couple of hours, and I have a strange reaction to dentistry. When I come away from there, I feel super low on energy, really as though I'd been defeated in a battle, or I'd been mugged, or I'd been in an accident. I just feel really low and depressed. A real -8 state, and it's interesting that I don't really know why that happens or what causes that, but it does happen, and it's quite interesting. But yeah, so today we are talking about attention, and the reason for that is manyfold. One of the key things there with this dental operation was that I experimented throughout with this idea of putting attention on a part of the body that is not distraught or that isn't in pain. And this comes from many things, but also particularly a conversation I had for the GOE Energy Conference last year with Dr. Eric Robbins, who is at the end of a referral chain for people with chronic pain in the urology department. And something that is well known by now, even to science, is that the repeated focus on pain creates neural pathways in your brain, literally. That the more you focus on the pain, the bigger these pathways become. They become like freeways, and then double freeways and triple freeways. and it becomes easier and easier to get to focus on that pain. And as this becomes easier, the experience of the pain begins to become greater and greater. And this is just something that happens. It's not something that people do to themselves or deliberately make happen, but it does happen with chronic pain. And when Dr. Robbins sees these people that have had chronic pain for a very long time, and they've had all the medical examinations and gone through massive amounts of referrals and tests, this has then been going on for quite a long time by the time they reach the end of this referral chain. And these neurological pathways into the brain are massive by then. And we were talking about various ways of using modern energy knowledge and energy understanding to assist these patients in creating different pathways. Now, there we also have Dr. Terry Lynch from the United States, who used to come to our live conferences. And she used to do a pattern whereby she would ask people with, for example, pain in the left hip to focus on the right hip instead and notice what happens when you do that. And it is really fascinating. It is a fascinating thing, and something that really still requires so much research. And so, as I was lying there and being treated, as it were, I experimented with this. I experimented with this. It was really, really interesting that it actually works. When you're putting attention on a different part of the body, here's where the discomfort and the pain is, and I focus on a different part of my body, there is a noticeable recession of the discomfort and the pain in this area as your attention moves away from there to somewhere else. And something that I also discussed with Dr. Robbins was I had this idea that to teach people to pay attention to a different part of the body to help practice building new neural pathways that go away from pain rather than into the pain is to just do little circles in the palm of your hand, because the palm of your hand is firstly incredible. There's so many neural pathways there, more than just about anywhere else. And on the other hand, it's also a major energy center. So we're literally tickling mind, body, spirit here at the same time. And at one point, when it became really very distressing, I tried that. And to my surprise, found that it actually really worked. Now, I'm not saying that the pain just disappeared, that it just went away and it ceased to exist instantly or miraculously. It did not. But it reduced to really noticeable dimensions. And I wasn't distraught or distressed anymore. I was kind of on top of it. And I thought to myself, I need to practice this. I need to practice paying attention and learning how to do that, because there are so many important things about that. And it's really, really interesting. And so that was sort of the starting point of my thought that we should be talking about attention. Carol says, where attention goes, energy flows. Oh, yeah. Now, we've all heard that one, haven't we? Where attention goes, energy flows. That's a very important thing. And it's true. It's very true. But we need to really understand a little bit more about this attention and energy flow, because it is a two-way street. It's not one way. It's two ways at the same time. And this is one of those concepts in energy that people who come from the physical world find really difficult to understand. Like if you're holding a hose pipe in your hand and water's spurting out, it's really difficult to conceptualize that at the same time as this water is spurting out on this end, is also spurting out on the other with exact equal force. That's one of those things with the energy of attention. This is a non-physical thing, And what it really does, it creates like a stargate or a portal. And through that, you get backwards and forwards traffic. Depending how big the portal is, the more traffic goes, not just one way, it goes both ways. That's really, I just thought I mentioned that. Good morning, dear Ilka. I'm glad you've joined us. Wonderful. Thank you for being here with me this morning. Yeah, so as I was thinking about this attention thing, I realized and remembered that the whole of modern energy, all of it, the reason that modern energy even exists is because I spotted that attention is actually something. It's a thing. It exists. It really is something. It's not an idea. It's not a concept. It's not some subtle thing. It's not a thought field. It is a real something. Attention is a currency, if you will. It's like gold. It's a real thing. And back in the day, I called it the invisible something. And I noticed that this is animal research. This is not human stuff. This is animal research. That social animals, social mammals, need this invisible something, this thing. They need it as much as they need food and water. And when they have a shortfall of this in their systems, that they start to seek attention from others of their kind, or, from others of their kind. That's what they do. If there is a shortfall of this magical substance, let's call it, the invisible something, this magical substance that is real and it's being exchanged. It's amazing. Once you start looking for it, you see how that happens. You can see an individual standing around, and all of a sudden they start looking around. They're not happy in themselves anymore. They're not interested in eating grass or playing or chasing a butterfly any longer. They are becoming uncomfortable. The other word for that is to become stressed. In order to relieve this stress, they need to acquire this magical substance from someone who can give it to them. And normally this would be with horses in a group or with dogs in a pack. They would go and find another of their species to give them this magical substance. And that is what attention-seeking behavior is. It is when a creature realizes they're getting low on energy, low on the magical substance, the invisible something, and this makes them stressed and uncomfortable, and they will go and look to get it from another who can provide this magical substance for them. Now, unfortunately, back in the day and still today, it is held that if you reward attention-seeking behavior with paying attention, you're going to make it worse. And that is really the biggest lie in the universe, because the exact opposite is true. If let's just say you have a dog or a cat, and it comes to you seeking attention, and you ignore it, what happens next? A 5-year-old can answer this question. The behavior escalates. The creature becomes more desperate. It tries harder to break through the wall of being not being given attention. It tries harder. If you keep ignoring it, the behavior will escalate more. And it'll escalate even more as the creature becomes more and more stressed. And then eventually the bow breaks and this creature will go into rage syndrome. It will attack. It will attack in order to get that precious, invisible something that it needs as much as it needs food and water. Yeah, that's attention. That's how precious attention is. Every one of us carries this precious substance inside that we can give at will, which is kind of unusual because I don't think animals have much of a decision over this one way or the other. But we do. We have this magical substance inside that we can give to creatures who ask for it. And when we do that, they become less stressed, their stress recedes, and they drink it in, refill their systems with it, nourish and replenish themselves with it, and they become more relaxed, more friendly, more social, more loving as a direct result of it. It heals all manner of problems, and it stops destructive escalation chains. It is incredibly powerful. This was my original, what I saw in the relationships between animals, between people and animals, and then obviously you just couldn't help but see it between people and people. Attention was real. The invisible something was real. It was real and it created behavior, destructive behaviors, stressed behaviors, health problems, even if it, if there was a continuous shortfall of this precious substance that creatures need to survive, to thrive, to be healthy. That was attention. It's that important. It's at the heart. The Harmony program is at the heart and the root of all of modern energy, is to understand that this energy thing is real and that especially attention energy is powerful, magical, that it creates change, real change in the physical world through the behavior of other creatures around you. Yes, and then there was this real surprise. So we started stopping this behavior of when something asked attention to ignore it, to teach it a lesson, to teach it to do without. And it doesn't work because you can't teach a creature to do without water or food, and you can't teach a creature to do without this magical substance that they need for life, which is, attention energy, that energy. You can't teach them that. All that happens is when you ignore attention-seeking behavior, is the creature gets more and more stressed, more and more frantic, more and more insane, and it may turn dangerous in the end. So we started to get used to actually doing this, giving attention when a creature asked for it. And under creature, we can now head dogs, cats, horses, cows, sheep, dolphins, children, partners, grandparents, people in the street, everyone. We started to get used to giving attention when it was asked for. And, how does that work? How do you give someone attention? This is simple, It's when you look at them and listen to them at the same time. When you turn all your senses in the direction of that person or that animal. It's sort of the opposite of somebody reading a book, sitting behind a book, and somebody's talking at them, and they keep reading the book and they say, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So they're not actually listening. They're not looking. Pay attention to somebody is to put the book down, to turn around. If you had ears like a dog or a horse, to point those ears forward in that person's direction and look at them directly. That's how we pay attention. That's how we make that connection through which this invisible something is being exchanged, this magical substance that we own and we have the power to give. That's how it's done. And we learned that if you did that right away when attention was being asked for, these escalation chains would no longer happen. And quite in the contrary of what people were all believing, that this sort of thing would make it worse, that the creature would constantly ask for attention, the absolute opposite was true. They were fed and they just went away, done. So quick, so perfect, so beautiful. But then I had this weird idea of giving a creature attention when it didn't ask for attention. Just to give it some extra. See what would happen. Yeah, and that's when the miracles entered our world back in the day. That's where extraordinary behavioral changes occurred. Like everyone else, we had only wanted to stop negative behaviors. That's all. We wanted to go to zero. No longer doing these annoying attention-seeking behaviors or escalations or rages. But when we started to actually give attention, hand out this magical substance that we have within, when the creature wasn't even in distress yet, something truly magical happened. It was like the creature would wake up and it would pay attention back, and this much, much more profound relationship would come into being. This much deeper connection, this amazing, and this creature would be so much more intelligent and willing to interact and learn and understand. It's magical, absolutely magical. Absolutely magical. And that was when the positive side of what we now know as the modern energy chart sprang into being, into awareness, into our attention, that it's not just about making bad behavior stop. It isn't. That there's this whole other world on the other side of the modern energy chart where these miraculous transformations occur. And that was also once again about attention. That magical substance that we carry inside, and we can give it at will to whoever or whatever we want to give this to. I am super aware of this. And you may not realize this, but my darling people who are watching me here this morning live and who are giving me their attention, and also the people who come later and watch the replays, every one of you is giving me of this magical substance that you have inside, and where you have that choice who you are going to give this to. And to me, the wonder of that has never ceased, not since 1993, that there's all these people with this extraordinary gift, and they just don't even know they have it. They don't know how to direct it or to control it or to do something with it that is beneficial to them. And it's just really, truly fascinating. And in many ways, I'm not going to say that I was glad for the dental operation, but I will say that being reminded of the true magic that is attention, especially in human beings, what that is, I'm extremely glad that I was reminded of that and to bring that up as a topic and to really put that close to your heart and to have you remember that this is so powerful, that is transformative. It can literally change everything in relationships too. Well, everything. And it was always called attention. Once we had it, at first it was just the invisible something, then we called it attention. And some years later, we started talking about energy and energy exchanges. But in truth, really, what this is love. Love is a real thing. It's a thing. It's a thing that we human beings and other creatures can generate inside ourselves and pass on as a gift to others. It's a real thing. I haven't used the word love much because it is so controversial and because so many people really misunderstand it and equate it with love pain or unrequited love or romantic love or sexual love. But real sort of plus 10 love is so much more than that. It's that magical, real substance that we carry inside, and we can give that to other beings. We can give that to other creatures. And please remember that the moment you do that, it's a two-way street. You're getting back as much as you are giving in direct causal relationship. Give a little bit of love, get a little bit of love in return. Get something in return. It's energy, information, data, insights, new thoughts, new ideas, new connections. It's magical. This is what I think I really wanted to share with you guys today. Just going to say good morning to some friends who have joined us. Good morning, Janine. Pavel, hello. And Nata from Ukraine. That's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for giving me this enormous gift of that magical something that you have inside, and you get to choose where you want to put it. So yeah, that's sort of where I am with attention. Where attention goes, energy doesn't just flow out of you, it flows back into you in direct measure. Yes, it's real fun. Hello, Linda. Good morning. Linda is sending love, oodles of love to everyone. I'll put it on the screen. Go on in. Oh, Linda is sending oodles of love to everyone and zooming it around the planet. That's nice. Where this really comes into action, though, and where I would like you to start, see, I started paying attention to attention. Back in the day, that's where this all started. I started paying attention to attention. When creatures were asking for it, when they were being rejected, how they would respond to that. You know, seeing the patterns. I paid attention to attention. And my reward for that was that the entire worlds of energy became revealed to me. And the physical world and the energy world reunited. That was my reward for paying attention to attention. I cannot personally think of anything greater than that. To get literally in just one flash, to get the love of the great creative order, immortality, the sixth sense, understanding, finding myself in a world that finally makes sense. when the old world of five senses never did. The world without love makes no sense. It is dangerous nonsense. To write a book on human psychology that doesn't have the word love in it is insanity. It is absolute insanity. To not understand or factor in the emotions of the scientists who are creating scientific studies, again, creates just nonsense. We need to, that I was given that in a flash. That was my reward for paying attention to attention itself. So I'm wondering if you guys were to start now really paying attention to what you are giving attention to, how you do that, what that experience is, what that creates in your life. I can only wonder what the reward would be for you if you really started paying attention to attention as well. You know? Ah. This is a very important point. Thank you for sharing this, Carol Ann. The more attention we give to an object or creature, the more of their energy we receive and the more we learn and understand what they are about. Yes, absolutely right. That is, you pay with attention, you get information. And the more you pay, the more information you get. It's really, truly amazing. If you are completely new to any of this, just try it out with a rock. Put a simple rock on the table in front of you and give it attention. Look at it, bang it on the table and listen to it. Sniff it. Really focus in on that rock and just notice what happens when you do that. What you're thinking, what you're feeling, how your relationship with the rock is beginning to change. From a crappy old rock, you might go to, oh my God, this was a mountain once. It got washed into the sea. Oh, wow. Just do it. It's absolutely fascinating. And it's a perfect beginner's exercise because rocks are relatively harmless. They're not as difficult or as complicated as cats or dogs or people. And you can start to learn how your attention flow works, what happens, how you get distracted, how you get back into it if you do. Fascinating exercise, and I could not recommend it more highly. Attention truly is, for human beings at least, a key to almost everything, to almost every kingdom that I can think of. That it even influences powerful physical pain during the experience of powerful physical pain during a dental operation. Oh my God. I wish I'd been practicing this since I was 2 years old. Somebody had taught me this when I was 2 years old, and I've been totally practiced on this. And it really, really, worked perfectly. I've only been playing with this a little bit on and off throughout the years, and it still worked yesterday at the dentist. Oh my God. There's just so much good that comes of understanding the preciousness of attention, how precious that is, and how people are hungering for this. Not just people, but creatures too, animals. They hunger for attention. And they'll give you so much in return if you share a little bit of that precious something with them. You start by looking at them, directing your ears towards them, breathing them in, opening your heart to them, your sixth sense, laying down the shields, perhaps. That's a topic for another day. Yes, attention. And then, of course, what do you think about the notion that that to which we give attention grows in our worlds? It grows and grows and grows. It can become so big, whatever that is, that we can't see anything else beyond it anymore. And that if that should have happened, and there's no disrespect to anyone to whom this has happened, they've just got involved in something and started paying attention to it, and they never knew that this is something that happens to people, that it grows and grows and grows, and it actually ends up eclipsing the real world in this illusionary, self-made monster that we have created for ourselves. See, I think we've got these absolutely extraordinary minds, but the software has just not been up to scratch and needs an update. And I believe modern energy is a serious software update that can take us to a new levels. Carol Ann, oh my God, something profound just slipped into my mind. I think I speak for all of us, Carol Ann, that I really want to hear about this. We want to know what it was. Ah, good morning, Alex Kent. Oh, lovely to have you here this me. I am extremely honored by you giving me your attention this morning. Energy shields from EMO are so powerful. Yes, they are. And I very nearly did today's Sunday Live on shields. It was something so few people actually know anything about. See what Ilka's saying. Yes, you're right. We have to pay attention to what we pay attention to. Absolutely. Yes, and what happens when we do? See, we are, as human beings, we have this awesome talent. Then we can choose what we want to give attention to. And I'd just like you to try that here for me. Just raise your eyes beyond the screen for a moment and to your environment, where you find yourself in physical reality. So have a look around your room and pick one object that you will now give attention to. My eyes were drawn to my golden E painting that is sitting on the side here, and it's shining in the lights from the studio. Yeah, I'm going to give that my attention. I choose that one object out of how many that I can see? 10,000 more? And it really is paying attention. It's really as easy as that. Is first of all realizing that we have a choice. We have a choice. If you look around your room, you can choose which object you want to focus your attention on, which object you want to give attention to, which object you want to grow in your awareness. Which object you interact with, how that affects you. When you give your attention, the same thing is flowing back to you. As much attention as you give it, it comes back to you. It's a very interesting thing, very primal, very human, but so little explored. Carol. Carol says, my big breakthrough moment here is the connection between opening the heart and paying attention. I hadn't linked them before. Yeah, that's very, very profound. Absolutely. You know, that's the thing with living life with the six senses. So we have our eyes directed to the person, we got our ears, got tasting them, scenting them, but then we have the emotions, the energy body. And opening that up, not being shielded, to get that information in, that then makes that complete, that attention complete as you can get it at the time. And in my experience and in theory, when attention is complete, unconditional love ensues. All the judgments go away, all the questions go away, everything goes away, and all that's left is that perfect attention that comes from unconditional love. And that brings with it the greatest rewards, obviously, at the same time, because it's that through flow thing. Very, very cool. Thank you for sharing that, Carol. That's excellent. It's wonderful. Yeah, so attention. Attention created modern energy. Becoming fascinated by attention created the harmony program, which created the modern energy chart, which created the positive wing there of the modern energy chart, and that all came from attention, which really is just, it's what I want us all to take away from this. And I really want us all to take this away, is that we have the ability to have this magical substance inside and literally pass it on to someone, give it to someone or something. And that when we do that, we connect with it, no matter how briefly, no matter how flashingly. And that's not just us going out and touching that, but it comes right back at us and touches us right back. And therefore, we might want to be choosing wisely where we put our attention, especially intense and extreme attention. Carol says, one of my earthly challenges is to open my heart, and I didn't understand what that meant, and now I do. I can practice it. Yay! Yeah. Well, as I keep saying, without energy, the world does not make sense to human beings. But with energy, with a sixth sense, it does make sense. It connects the dots, and then you can understand what you're supposed to do. And when somebody says to you, focus on something, what the hell do they mean by that? How do I do that? Well, it's done by paying attention with all your senses all at the same time. All six senses, which also then includes sort of opening your heart. But that's really just energy. That's quite natural. It's like when you're looking at something and you're really paying attention, you're listening to it, even if it's a rock, still direct your ears onto the rock like a horse would or a dog would when they're really paying attention and they're tuning their ear towards that. Tune all your senses towards it. And if you do that, when you do that, the sixth sense comes with it automatically. It's like six horses pulling the cart. When 3, 4 of them are starting, the others will go with them. And then we can get into that first taste of that attention that is turning into something more, into curiosity, into admiration perhaps, into fascination. And then there's that final threshold shift into love when your attention is complete. It's well worth experimenting with. It's well worth playing with. Also remember, when you have a pain or an ache, to try that, paying attention to a different part of your body, or finding the most comfortable place in your body and taking your attention there, really focusing on it. And when you bounce out because the pain is strong again, back to that and train those new pathways. Think of it as making new pathways, new neural pathways that become stronger with practice. So I think there's so much we can do with this. Yeah, so that was attention. I would love to hear some more comments, any questions. I'm delighted to talk about attention, that magical substance that we have inside and that we can direct. And when we do that, we're giving a gift, doing a wonderful thing. And we might not want to be, as we're beginners and we're practicing, we're youngsters, younglings with attention and love. Still so much to learn. Might be wise for now to stay away from particularly nasty things that when you touch them, that make you feel bad. And practice with beautiful things, powerful things, loving things. I believe that practicing with love is the way to learn about love, Oh, Marian, thank you for this amazing time this morning. Have a wonderful week, all of you. Yes, and play with attention. Play with the power of attention. Ah, man, there is so much. Once you realize the power of your attention to change things, change behavior of other creatures, other beings, it is enormously empowering. It's a really empowering thing to attend the attention thing. See what Janine says. I'm aware sometimes when listening, I switch off to people if they complain. Yes. Um, just play with it this week. Fine, not just this week, for the rest of our lives, let's play with this. Play with your attention. Notice which channels are missing. Or I was watching a horse trainer the other day, and the horse was actually looking at him, but the ears were pointed like in a different direction. It was listening to something else that was going on. And I smiled to myself as I saw this. Then the horse trainer gave a command, and of course the horse didn't listen. Are we surprised by this? No, we're not. He had failed to gain the horse's full attention. It was looking at him, but it was listening to and thinking of something else, which was great fun. Ah, yeah. Let's see. Alex, oh, thank you. Oh, you're very welcome, Alex. Very welcome. Lots and lots of love to you. Carol says, I'm going to develop the art of attention this week and see what happens, then use it as a tool from then on forwards. Exactly. Good thinking. I have this particular sentence that I use, which goes, and now, and knowing this is so, how can we use this to our advantage? Now, science does have this tendency of saying, something, whatever, makes a statement, and that's the end of it. Like we could make this statement: attention is this powerful, magical substance that is real. We have it inside ourselves and we can use it to elevate, heal, love, bless, de-stress. And we could leave it there. But I don't, and modern energy doesn't. We then say, okay, and knowing that this is so, how can we use this to advantage? And that's what bridges theory into practice. That's what makes it useful. And I am a huge fan of things that are useful and actually help us in this life. Ilka says, definitely play with it. My dog gained weight suddenly, so much so it was insane. I gave her much more love and attention, and she lost it between 2 weeks. Yes. Oh, God, yeah. That's a very good example of behavioral change when there is more love in the room. Absolutely. Yep. Love it. Okay. Yes, dear Janine, just play with it. Play, find out what happens. Um, Janine was saying that she didn't give enough attention. Instead of giving them the attention they need, right? And something there's many things to overcome, and one is that old mindset that if you give somebody attention, they'll just overwhelm you with more and more and more that you don't want. That giving a little bit attention is making like this huge this hole in a dam, and a flood wave will fall over you, and that's just not the experience that we had with it. What we found is that if we give a person a little bit of attention when they ask for it, they say, "Thank you, that's exactly what I needed," and then they go away. Hmm. Please, but you need to experiment with that yourselves. Okay, guys. Right, we are at the end of this week's energy show on attention. If you have not subscribed yet, please do. Um, Click the bell icon so you get notifications for new videos and things. If you find this useful, please share Modern Energy, share my channel with a friend or someone who might find this also really interesting. That would help. And I am very much looking forward to what else we're going to be discovering. Now I got to put this on the screen. Alex says, Amber loves your spiral necklace. Thank you very much, Amber. That's lovely. I'm thrilled you like it. Lots and lots of love to you, my dear. Okay, guys, have a wonderful week. Play with attention. Put it somewhere where it's beneficial to you. Discover more about it. And remember, you've got this magical substance inside of you that you can give to where you want to give it to. And that's really precious and really powerful. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here with me. Lots and lots of love to you. And I look forward to seeing you for next week's Energy Show, Sunday Live with Sylvia. Bye.